Fingure, Magal Nafa, Cthulhu, Rilye, Wagalagal Fatagan. The stars are right. Ancient doom stirs in the depths, plotting, planning, preparing for his return. Unknowable and ancient, he desires but one thing.
To make a video on cosmic horror and get that sweet, sweet YouTube ad revenue. Cosmic horror, also commonly known as Lovecraftian horror, is a genre of horror popularized by the works of H.P. Lovecraft. As Halloween draws near, it presents a prime opportunity to explore this genre and to give thanks to the great old ones for not devouring mankind until my check clears and I've had some time to enjoy my YouTube success. So let us dive into the forbidden knowledge of how to write cosmic horror and then go mad from the revelation. We should start at the top by constructing our pantheon of eldritch godlike beings. Given the alien nature of many members of Lovecraft's pantheon, this means that a writer can come up with all manner of strange and creative, all-powerful cosmic entities to populate their very own mythos. A universe of possibilities exists. What name shall I call my version of Lovecraft's Great Old Ones? I know, I'll call them the Great Old Ones. I'm sure a one-to-one copy won't dilute the horror too much. Not enough creativity to come up with new eldritch gods? Too lazy to even copy Lovecraft's pantheon? That's 100% fine. Just leave the cast of ancient gods vaguely defined and eternally in the background of the story. Oh, they are there, being dark and unknowable, I assure you, because the characters refer to them all the time as though they are a great threat. Will they ever show up? I mean, if the book sells enough for a sequel, maybe? Otherwise, I'm not putting effort into that. Besides, the ancient gods can't show up because the world would end along with any series potential. Instead, we should now shift our focus to the servitors of the ancient deities. That's right, it's my favorite part, designing monsters. Unlike a lot of genres, cosmic horror writers are free to dive deep into their imaginations and create truly twisted and alien creatures. Wow, this creature sure looks cool in my imagination, but, how do I describe it? Crap, that's kind of hard, and I've got a better idea. You see, I don't have to give my monsters cool descriptions because it's so alien that it's indescribable. The main characters can't get a good look at it because I don't want to write descriptive prose. I mean, it would drive them mad to look upon it. If a writer does want to try their hand at describing their very own ancient horror, then just combine one or more tentacles, mouths, and/or eyes. Make it semi-formless too. Basically, just make varying sizes of wannabe shoggoths. That's the standard issue cosmic horror monster, or some of the things I found under my sink in my old apartment. But how do these monsters cross over onto Earth? Minus the odd cosmic weak point in the veil that separates our world from the beyond, one method is through a book of doom, or as I like to call them, the Not Necronomicon. These books are usually authored by madmen of one variety or another and contain terrible, ancient, and forbidden knowledge, and I'm assuming they get poor reviews on Amazon as well. The Not Necronomicon frequently ends up in the hands of dangerous and mysterious cults who use the rites and rituals within to summon horrible, horrific horrors to harry and hound helpless humans. You know, I always wonder what the cults got out of this. I mean, most of the ancient entities are planning to end the world, and it's not like the average eldritch god typically offers a good retirement package or anything. I guess the cultists are just insane, but not so insane that they can't manage the logistics necessary for nightly human sacrifices, while maintaining a huge informant network and infiltrating the regional government so their activity is continued ignored. These cultists should be presented as faceless drones so they can be used as cheap disposable bad guys for the main characters to fight. I mean, we wouldn't want to dig into how real-life cults work because that crap is 1,000 times more terrifying than any story I've ever read. Yikes. Let's move on to something more pleasant in our Lovecraft ripoff checklist. Let's see what's next. I better copy everything Lovecraft did in his works and make no alterations to any aspect of his writing, and... yeah, gonna sweep that one under the rug there. Maybe taking everything from Lovecraft wasn't such a good idea. That's fine. The best thing about cosmic horror is that it fits great into most science fiction or fantasy settings. Mostly. There is the small chance that suddenly adding cosmic horror into a fairly pedestrian, upbeat fantasy or science fiction story without any foreshadowing might completely ruin the light tone. I mean, watching your typical upbeat, plucky fantasy party suddenly get ripped limb from limb from horrors from beyond time and space at the plot's halfway point, with the only survivors being driven mad, will certainly leave an impression on the reader. Should I have a dark undercurrent run through the first part of the story, while laying clues for the reader to speculate at the universe's darker nature before eviscerating my main characters? Of course not. We want to maximize the impact of the cosmic horror, and probably the impact of our book as it's thrown across the room by our reader. While our book is leaving an impact, it's not exactly the impact I wanted. Perhaps I should consider the core elements that make cosmic horror so effective. Is it the impossible architecture of the strange and alien civilizations that inhabit the cosmos, or their mysterious obelisk engraved with ancient runic writing? It is strange and sinister, maybe even unsettling, but doesn't quite instill the horror that I'm aiming for. Maybe the real horror of cosmic horror is the fear of the unknown, that the vast universe is full of that which can never be fully understood without taking a terrible toll.
Maybe it isn't the visceral fear of dripping fangs, but the misshapen otherness of the shuffling horrors in the dark, whose alien-minded intentions are truly unfathomable. That the universe is an empty void, uncaring of our very existence, and so vast that our eyes can only see the faint outlines of the true horrors lurking in the dark.
Nah, that can't be it. All I know is that I'm tired of this. No more hiding in the dark. I'm sick of being pushed around by ancient cosmic entities. Grab a weapon and a torch. We're going to face those eldritch horrors. That's right, this isn't cosmic horror anymore. This is Lovecraft light. The monsters in the dark can be beaten. They can be pushed back. Maybe the universe is cold and pitiless, but we will face it nonetheless, because in this universe, we have something far stronger than ancient unknowable alien gods on our side. Authorial Bias! That's right, just cherry-pick the parts of cosmic horror you like and ditch the rest. Finding a balance and reinterpreting the elements of Lovecraftian horror can produce some amazing fiction, which is why you should just keep chipping away at it until all that's left is a couple of strange monsters for the heroes to fight. Just water down the horror until the only fear left is the ancient abomination won't drop any good loot after it's killed by the main characters. I guess that wouldn't really ever happen. Human beings are mere insects compared to the eldritch gods, much like how humans are to ants. By the way, did you know that 20 to 50 humans a year are killed by ants? Isn't that an interesting statistic, Cthulhu?